Welcome back to the Crypto Trends Podcast, where we cover all things cryptocurrency, blockchain, Web 3.0, and AI. I'm Robert Croak, and I'm joined by my co-host, Armando Pantoja. Both of us and our amazing team are excited to bring you the best information, guidance, and strategies each and every Wednesday. So follow along and always remember to take notes and take action. So let's get into talking point number one, Bitcoin's election rally. With the Trump win, the expected rally is happening. It didn't take long at all, and we broke all-time highs of $75,000. So what are your thoughts on this? Do you think this will be a sustained rally and bull run, or a quick run-up and potential pullback, given the fact that Trump won? The euphoria is happening. Everyone is excited. Where do you think Bitcoin goes in the coming weeks?
Today, Bitcoin's up 8, and it got to almost 9% from where it was 24 hours from right now. So it hit all-time highs. It passed all-time highs, but there's a lot of resistance at that all-time high point because people feel like that a lot of people are going to take profit. So it has to get a lot more momentum, a lot more volume to get through this heavy resistance at the all-time high. But I think that over today and over maybe the rest of the week, we're going to break it and march toward 80, 85, 100,000 for the end of the year. So what this is a testament to the prediction markets. And I lost a bunch of followers over the last 2 weeks because I kept posting what the prediction markets were saying, because I didn't really listen to the polls. People, that's fake or whatever. But prediction markets, we talked about it last night on our live, is that when people put their money down, they're way more likely to make rational decisions. Like you said, to put your money, what did you say again?
Put your money where your mouth is.
Put your money where your mouth is.
It's easy to talk about something of what's going to happen, but when you're actually putting your own money down for it, you better be right.
Exactly. That's what the prediction markets has told us the entire month or 2 months that Trump was going to win. And that's exactly what happened, right? And that's what the big money saw. And they started investing in cryptocurrency, investing in AI stocks, investing in pro-Trump. Palantir went up a lot. And it was because these institutional investors were watching the prediction markets. Yep. And they weren't watching what the news and stuff was saying. That's for retail investors. That's for average people. They have a different set of numbers, and they also watch a different stream of data. Like I said, is that I believe that we're going to be on a quick march to 85, on the 100 for the end of the year, early next year. And I think it's a good day for cryptocurrency. A lot of people are angry because their candidate didn't win, but this is from the perspective of cryptocurrency. Trump has been promised to be a cryptocurrency president, and I think that cryptocurrency can benefit greatly from a Trump presidency.
I couldn't agree more. I think that crypto, AI, and anything tech-related in the industry is going to do very well in the coming years. And you saw all the memes saying that this is going to be the golden age of the U.S., manufacturing sector. And with that really leads into AI investing, data center investing, utility investing. We've talked about nuclear a lot lately. And so a lot of these smaller nuclear companies are going to do very well. We've talked about URA and CEG and all of these different stocks out there, and the same goes for cryptocurrency. And that really leads us into why I think we had resistance last night at that $75,300 mark, and that is because this week alone, talking point number two, we had over $541 million in spot ETF outflows, and that was recorded just this week right up to the election. And really what I believe all that was people hedging the election results. I just think that so many of them wanted to get out and get on the sidelines and get on cash because they were fearful that if there was a Kamala Harris win and she is not pro-crypto like Trump is, we could see a big price reaction on the downward side. And that's why I think there was so much outflow out of the ETFs. And I believe that money will go right back in the coming weeks. So what are your thoughts on that? Because $541 million is a lot of money to leave the crypto markets just in the last few days. And I think we'll see it plus much, much more get right back into the markets.
Yeah, I think I agree with you there. I think that it's going to flow right back into the market. But the key thing is it's going to flow back at a higher valuation. So it's going to push crypto, Bitcoin's price higher, and all of crypto's valuations higher. So I think that's what's going to happen. So the key thing here that really shocks me is that retail investors are not even in.
Yeah.
And I always tell people, go to work, ask 5 of your coworkers, are you in cryptocurrency? I bet you 4 will either say it's a scam, it's dead, or they don't know anything about it. Now, that's a positive sign for investors. That shows us that we're extremely early still, and we're ahead of the retail rush. Now, the retail rush is going to come in. When Trump got elected, we pushed to all-time highs. This is the highest. This is what it's almost like a juxtaposition, or it's just a weird situation in which Bitcoin is at all-time highs. And the average person walking around thinks it's a scam, dead, or don't know anything about it. It's very weird how this has happened. And I really don't. I want to get your thoughts on that as we're talking. Why do you think that we've gotten to this point with all the excitement about cryptocurrency over there? You think maybe because people were burned last cycle, so they just gave up on it, or the news is suppressing it because the rich want to get in? I want to know. Let's hear what you say. What do you think?
Suppression, manipulation. It's a cycle. Right now, we're going to see all of the industries, all of the big hedge funds, all the big investors, the family offices, all of them are buying, while all of the retail investors are sitting on the sidelines waiting for someone in the news to tell them crypto is here to stay and it's going to be amazing. So what happens is, and that's where the suppression is, all of the biggest, wealthiest organizations that are buying it up, the MicroStrategies and the ARCs and the BlackRocks and all of them, they're buying it all up while the news cycle is down on cryptocurrency. And that's the manipulation and the suppression. Then, as soon as they get to a point where they're happy with where they're at, they've reached their buy box of what they're doing in cryptocurrency, then the news cycle will come around and say, crypto is back, crypto is here to stay. That's when the retail investors get in, and that's why they get wrecked, because they wait, even though we've been saying for years to get in dollar cost average, and they get in at the top, and that's when the big dogs come in and take their profit. And when that happens, then it goes right back to that same cycle where they say, oh, crypto's a scam. I bought Bitcoin at $89,000 and went back down to 71. I lost my money and I sold. They don't understand the theory of long-term investing, and it's just so important that everyone listening understands that there's always going to be manipulation, and as long as you're on the right side of it, you're going to win and build incredible wealth. That's my thought.
This is the first time, and me and you both have been in crypto over a decade now, and this is the first halving cycle that I've seen to where there's not massive media coverage on being at all-time high. It's not even on the news. It's not on CNN. It's not on. They should be covering this right alongside the election, but they're not. And this is also, and this is what's weird, and it adds to your point. This is also the first cycle where most of the capital that was coming in was institutional money. Those two things together really point to a system of suppression and manipulation, because those investors, those institutional investors, have to keep you away from it until they get their stakes in. And they may not be 100% in getting what they think is, a significant or sufficient amount of cryptocurrency in their coffers before letting the retail investors know. So all of that does add to your point, but one day they will announce more or less that crypto is here to stay. Retail will rush in, and that's when we're going to get those valuations, 6 figures, 250 and on, is once the institutions almost flip the switch and say, we have enough now, let's start pushing it to the retail investors.
Yeah, one way to look at it is when you think about institutional money and all of the big players getting involved, is Michael Saylor's headline this week alone was that one Bitcoin was going to get to $13 million by 2045. So that's a crazy number to think from where we're at today of $71,000 that we could see that much of a gain based on his internal math and what he believes happens because of the limited supply of Bitcoin. So there's a lot of crazy news that's going to come forth. I think we're going to see even further manipulation and suppression, but I do believe we are going to enter this bull market, and with the election of Trump, that will certainly help move crypto forward as a whole. And not just crypto, AI, Web 3.0, all technologies, I believe, are going to do very well and get more of a free opening for development in the U.S. rather than being chased out of the U.S., and that leads us to talking point number 3, removing Gary Gensler. Trump made it clear that he said he would fire Gary Gensler day one, and I know that sounds great for all of us crypto investors, but it's just not that simple or even possible, honestly, because you have to remember, since the SEC is an independent federal agency, the president does not have the authority to simply fire him. And I want to make sure that everyone understands that. Do I think Trump will put massive pressure on the agency to get rid of Gensler? Yes. Do I think we will see a huge change of guard of anyone that is against crypto and AI and the future of the U.S. as far as technology? Absolutely. But he doesn't have the authority to just fire Gary Gensler. So I wanted to touch on that a minute because I think it's important for everyone to understand. So many people are waiting for this big gunslinging moments, and I just don't see them happening right out of the gate. And so I just want to make sure everyone understands that, because one of the other big talking points was tariffs. And everyone's, he's going to raise tariffs, and what is that going to do? Yes, it would hurt the consumer products side of things, but I don't expect us to see any big tariff movement until at least 2026. So we have a long way to go before any of this really takes hold. But I think the sentiment part is so important because people see a positive future for tech, AI, and crypto because of the Trump victory.
Yeah, so Trump can't fire Gary Gensler, but he can make it very uncomfortable for him. If I was Gary, I would resign. Right now, I would just say I resign. I don't agree with. I would just be a preemptive resign and say I don't agree with the new president. Or something like that, so we can save face. Because it's just like this: Trump can't technically lower the interest rates either, because that's the Federal Reserve. But he can put massive pressure on them to do it.
Sure.
He can make their lives completely, utterly uncomfortable until they do what he says. And that's what that's his game plan normally to get stuff done. So Gary Gensler, and he also has supposedly what looks like now in the polls or the exit polls and the reporting is that Trump will also carry the Senate and the House. So with those three, it'd be very difficult for Gary Gensler to operate in that environment. If I was him, I would just resign, but I doubt he will. He'll probably fight a little bit, then he'll go ahead and just resign on his own. But that's a great sign for cryptocurrency because he's been completely and utterly against it for the last 4 years and years.
Yeah, years.
7, 8 years. And the United States is well behind where they should be in cryptocurrency. I go to other countries all the time, and they're way ahead of us in the mindset in cryptocurrency. A lot of, I was in Argentina last week, and in Argentina, they don't see it as a scam, or they just see it as some new technology they can benefit from. And most Americans see it as a scam, and which is not good. So we need to get rid of him. And then the second thing that I think I'm sure Trump is going to do is that he's going to free Ross Ulbricht. Now, for people that don't know the history of cryptocurrency started out as a currency. That's what it was, because cryptocurrency, right? Early in the crypto days, I bought a bunch of crypto and I spent it. And people are like, oh, I show people invoices where I sent a guy like 3 Bitcoin for a logo. Because I was in the crypto community here in Tampa. And people say, you paid, 75 times 3? $200,000 for a logo? I'm like, yeah, that was back then. It was only $100 a Bitcoin then. But one of the first big use cases of cryptocurrency as a currency was a market called Silk Road. Yeah. And it was on the dark web. Now, Silk Road was an illegal marketplace. About half the things were illegal. They were selling cocaine, prostitution,
guns,
murder for hire,
everything.
And people paid in Bitcoin because at that time it still is anonymous. It's less anonymous now, but at the time it was completely anonymous. So people preferred to use cryptocurrency. And Ross Ulbricht was the creator of that site, and he just facilitated. He didn't participate in any of these things. He just had the site. Right. So one day the FBI figured out his location, and they kicked his door in. They found him at a Starbucks, and they arrested him. And all those sales he got charged with, he got life in prison. Yep. At the time, it was ridiculous for somebody who facilitates to get that much time. And a lot of people thought that was America's way to show the public that if you deal with Bitcoin, this is what's going to happen to you. So he got life in prison. And for a comparison's sake, is Craigslist used to have prostitutes on it, and Backpage too.
Yep.
And they never kicked in the founder of Craigslist. And eBay used to sell illegal things on there, fake Gucci bags. They still do, but back then it was rampant 10, 15 years ago. They never kicked in the door of the CEO and gave him life in prison for all of those sales.
Selective prosecution.
Yeah, they put him in jail for life. And he shouldn't have got that much. And a lot of Bitcoiners think that was the government's way of trying to stop Bitcoin. Look, this is what happens when you deal with Bitcoin. So Trump says that day one, he's going to free Ross. And his shirt's printed up about it and everything like that. But the important thing here is that's a sign that the government is turning the page on cryptocurrency and saying, hey, look, we're sorry with what we did in the past. We're ready to embrace it now. It's a new presidency, and there's a bright future for cryptocurrency. So a lot of Bitcoiners see that as a very positive sign for cryptocurrency going forward.
I couldn't agree more. I think it's just so important because we've been around through all the cycles. And I remember when I used to talk about Bitcoin back in 2012 or 13, people thought I was nuts and they just didn't get it at all. And then we went through a little bit of a hype cycle where it started to get credibility around 2017. Then there was some scams that happened and it went right back into, oh, cryptocurrency is a scam. People don't realize in every sector of business, whether it's real estate, stocks, startups, or whatever, there are always bad actors. And now, because cryptocurrency has just kept going, kept developing, and kept moving forward, now we're at a place where I believe we're finally going to see the adoption and we're going to see all of this credibility come forth because all of the biggest players out there, the BlackRocks of the world, have been all in on cryptocurrency. And at some point, you're not going to be able to ignore it anymore. And that brings us into our next talking point, and that is the XRPL finally activates their crucial price oracle amendment. And this is really important because this has been so anticipated to enable the integration of off-chain data through oracles. And this update really follows Ripple's positioning to become a competitor to Chainlink. We all know how big Chainlink is and how important it is. And it's so important. But also this XRPL update, I think, really will help bolster XRP, the token, and bring it to new all-time highs. The big question is always, why is XRP not moving? Why is it not getting back to all-time highs? And the real answer is because they've been stuck with this Gary Gensler situation of the lawsuit and the settlement for years. And I think we're finally moving past that, and we will see XRP remove itself from this stagnation and then grow at the same pace, if not faster, than many of the other cryptos in the space that are not mired in all this negativity through these lawsuits. So talk through a little bit, because I know we did this on a previous episode where we believe that we will still see an XRP in that $5 to $8 range in this bull market. Where do you think it goes? Do you still believe that? Do you still agree with it based on all of this new bullish news around XRP?
Yeah, I think the addition of oracles on every chain is going to take blockchain in general to another level. And I'm glad that XRP is moving forward on this. Yeah, so I still think we can get to $5 to $8. Firing Gary Gensler, like we said before, is the first step. Second step is I don't believe in heavy regulation in AI or blockchain. I believe in light regulation. Just make sure that most people's rights and their investments are secure, and let the industries flourish. Is that I don't want a lot of over-regulation. But XRP, I still see it at $5 to $8, and I'm still standing strong on that.
Sounds good. Yes. So let's get on to our next talking point. And this one kind of merges the AI and the crypto sector, which, we believe are two of the biggest places to build your wealth in the coming years. And Nvidia is in discussions to invest in Elon Musk's AI startup, XAI. And I think this is amazing. And they're valuing the company at around $40 billion. And so Musk right now is raising capital, and Nvidia has opened its coffers to saying they are in on this and willing to be involved in this project XAI. And I think this is just great news, further bullish news for the crypto sector based on this news, because everyone knows I'm a big bull on Nvidia and Palantir and some of these other leading AI companies. And I think seeing these companies all working together and starting to see this cross-pollination of this capital, because Nvidia is sitting on billions and billions of dollars. And I just think it's a great further embracement of AI in the crypto space. So talk people through it. What do you think about this? XAI, I think, is going to be a game changer. I made the mistake. I had an opportunity to invest in XAI pre-IPO at, I think, an $18 billion valuation. I thought it was too expensive at the time, and I was probably wrong, but we'll see. But I just think this is further great news, not just for AI and Nvidia, but also Elon Musk, because he is just crushing it on everything he does. I don't think you should ever bet against him. So many people were counting Tesla out for the past year while it was down, not looking at it for what it is, and that is a data and technology company, and they're still looking at Tesla as an automotive company, and I just think they're wrong there. I think there's so much upside potential looking at automation, humanoid robotics, the self-driving taxis, and all of that. So what are your thoughts on NVIDIA and Elon Musk XAI joining forces?
There's a lot of things that people miss with AI, Nvidia, and all these other. That's why they, like me and you, called out Palantir. We called out Nvidia, or that's actually how we met. We called it Nvidia very early.
Yep.
Very early, months before, when it was at $80, below 100. And I think you called it out a little bit lower. I don't know, maybe around the same time. And people along that path, let's just use Nvidia as like the benchmark. So along Nvidia's path, it went from 80 to 300, and people, it's over.
It's too late.
Yeah, it's too late. That's the peak. I'm pulling out of Nvidia. All these analysts saying this. Then it went from 300 to 500. Oh, that's too late. That's the all-time.
It's a bubble.
It's a bubble. It's going to burst. Then it went from 500 to 750. Then it went to 1,000. Now we're at, if you count the pre-split evaluation, we're at about 1,400. Right now it's 140. Share, because it was a 10-to-1 split. So we basically went from 80 to 1,400, 16, 17 times gain. And all along the path, they said it was over, it's a bubble, whatever. What they're missing is that this is not just a trend, this is not just charts, this is not just hype, this is a fundamental change of society. And that's where they're missing Tesla. They're missing all this stuff. And another thing they miss is that when they look at Tesla and you look at this new company XAI and you look at SpaceX as separate entities, they're separate entities as how they're registered and how they run. But because Elon Musk is at the driver's wheel, these technologies are cross-pollinating one another.
Yep.
So the AI, the vision, computer vision that comes out of Teslas that can see cars and see stuff, he can put that into the spaceships. He can put that into this XAI that he's working on.
Yep.
He can use XAI to add more technology to Tesla. All his companies are cross-pollinating, and all of them are going up because of that. And people don't, that's something that these analysts are not really putting into their evaluations, because they're seeing these as separate entities. So all of this technology from space is going to go into XAI. And in artificial intelligence, you need somebody like him, because we don't want Sam Altman having so much power. And we need different models of AI, because we don't know which one, either ChatGPT or OpenAI or Musk's version, which one is going to be the best. Now we have competition. Right now, it's only one person, really. It's OpenAI that does it at a high level where most people use it. So we need somebody else out there that has a model that's built differently, built on a different set of people, so that these two can compete and the best will win. It's better for all of us that he comes into the market. And I think it's going to be a great company.
And you bring up a good point, and I think that's why so many of these analysts miss, and they're wrong. You think about Cathie Wood; she was early to Nvidia and sold really early, because they all look at just the technical analysis. They don't look at the momentum. They don't look at the macro side of where it's going to be in 5 or 10 years, because they have a fiduciary duty to their investors. And people give Cathie Wood and other people like her a hard time when they get out out early, and they don't realize that they have a fiduciary duty. They may believe that this Nvidia or Palantir or one of these MU or any of these stocks are going to keep going and going, but they also have to look at the bottom line and what profits they can generate for their investors. So it's always tricky when they're in that position of what should they do in these situations. Everyone right now asks me, we went from the big hype around Nvidia, I'm still buying Nvidia, and then everyone's now talking about Palantir, like, why didn't you tell me? Why weren't you more serious? I'm like, I've been talking about Palantir since it was $14. I think it was $12 or $14 in 2022. And I think it still has a lot of upside potential. But my inbox right now is all, man, I missed Palantir. Now it's too late. And it's just so crazy. It's never too late. If you understand where these markets are going and these companies are going, it's never too late. So let's talk about our last subject.
Let me add something real quick.
Sure.
It's too late when you see humanoid robotics walking down the street.
Yeah.
Until you see that, AI is still on the upward trend.
That's right. Yeah, until I have a humanoid robotic in my house doing my laundry and my dishes, we have room to grow.
Exactly.
100%. So let's talk about Trump won. Everything's great. We're moving forward. We have clarity now. We now can understand where the markets are going to go. Let's talk about crypto, because we both believe that with a Trump victory, crypto will get the green light and we will see this bull market we've all been waiting for. And for me, some of the related stocks that we'll see immediately keep going will be the MicroStrategies of the world, the Clean Sparks, the Riots, as well as some of my favorite cryptos right now, Sui, Ton, Near Protocol, Ondo Finance, Pendle, ASI. I love Aerodrome as well. Walk us through, where do you see all the money going with this Trump victory? Do you agree with me that we're going to see a lot of run up in crypto and AI, mostly because of this Trump victory? What else do you see out there for opportunities for people immediately?
Yeah, I think over the next 2 weeks, we're going to really see. It's going to give a clear picture of where we're going. I do believe that this Trump victory is going to push up not only stocks, but also crypto. And all the ones you mentioned are great picks. I really like Near. There's a lot of predictions that we're going to see a 400% gain over in 2025. I think it's going to do a lot of great things. MicroStrategy, we actually called it out on, was it last episode or the episode before? We said it'd be a positive Trump play. So even with MicroStrategy, it's up 12% today. And that's something we called out on the last episode. We broke it down, really. We said, if you believe in Trump, which was the prediction mark say he's going to win, if you took out options on MicroStrategy, you're probably up right now 200-300%.
Yeah. And
that's why I say we give plays out. We tell you guys how to make money. We've been doing it. And it's funny that people just, all you have to do is listen to these episodes, and you can make a lot of money over the next 2 years. That's one play that we laid out. We didn't even charge for it. We could have charged thousands for that, and people would have paid it. But we gave it away free here on this channel, and we're going to continue to do that. 2025 is going to be a great year for a lot of us, and it's the potential to make a lot of money. You just have to pay attention and like I always say, stop bachating, doing all that stuff. Just pay attention, learn, and just, focus. And I think it's going to be a great year for all of us in cryptocurrency.
Yeah, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. And that's just the age-old thing. We try each and every week to provide you the best possible information and strategies, and it's up to you to do your own research, make your own financial decisions, because we are here to educate. We're not here to tell you what to invest in. We're here to tell you what we like, why we like it, why we're investing in it, and it's up to you to make that decision. So thank you all for stopping by each and every week and supporting us at the Crypto Trends Podcast. You can find us at Crypto Trends Podcast on Instagram, Apple, Spotify, and YouTube, and we appreciate you stopping by each and every week. Make sure to share the podcast with a friend. If they're a crypto investor or they're following along in the AI revolution, make sure to share it with them, because by you sharing it, giving us those 5-star reviews, it helps us move up the charts, and we appreciate you stopping by each and every week.